A rogue army of humans and dwarves approached a nearby temple in the shifting sands of the dry desert. Their intention? To plunder and sack the temple from its riches and claim the Blessed Blade of Ptra for themselves. Ptra, King of Kings, would not allow it. The plunderers marched towards their objective. They were well prepared for any fight, for they knew other forces were always eager to take to the sacred temples and get the rich bounties for themselves. Over the years, with all their stolen gold and riches, they had purchased the help of hundreds of swordsmen for hire, outriders, a monstrous giant, and even artillery. Gerhard Swaft, mounted atop his horse, led the rogue army of thieves closer and closer into the temple. Their prizes were waiting for them, and if they find any opposition, like it had happened a few times in the past, they had all the military power they needed to deal with them. More than that, General Swaft had heard that this particular temple possessed riches beyond counting, and would yield unimaginable power to any man that could claim the mysterious artifacts for himself. In particular, he was looking for an ancient blade, the Blessed Blade of Ptra, the Sun God, which is said to channel the baking heat of the unforgiven near Kharn Desert. Therefore, to make sure they achieved their objective, he hired the Doom Seekers, a rogue army willing to join any cause for the right amount of coin. Logan Rockshake was the leader of that second force. More than plunderers and thieves, these dwarves considered themselves to be warriors who fought for the thrill of fighting. They could earn money doing what they did best. It was simply a deal they couldn't refuse. Just 2 days ago, General Swaft and Logan had signed their deal, and it was now the time of putting in the work. Sticking to his word, Logan showed up with his men. They were mostly slayers, fierce warriors who had seen their fair share of action during their lives. Battle-hardened Iron Drakes, and their newest additions, Squig Warheads. War beasts, barely tamed to obey their new masters, and hungry to bite and feast on new enemies. When Ptra arrived, he encountered the combined force of humans and dwarves preparing to desiccate the site and thieve away his sacred blade. For such an affront, their souls are forfeit. Ptra marched along his army of skeletal warriors that had risen from beneath the baking sands to slaughter those who trespass into their domain. There were thousands of them. Their bodies, having had to last far beyond any natural span, possessed a rare vitality. Their reanimated bodies working tirelessly, moving without stopping by the sheer will of their master. They had marched for days without a halt, for they needed neither sustenance or sleep. They only advanced forth. General Swaft saw the host of undead legions advancing towards them, an army of skeletons and ancient constructs denying their prize with their mere presence. But he had taken all the necessary precautions for this journey, and Logan and his slayers were already advancing on his left flank. His men were motivated by riches promised to them. Glory was his for the taking, and with a single order, the artillery opened fire. Shells flying high across the air hit into the skeletons' ranks. Some were broken into thousands of flying bone pieces as a number of mortars hit their targets. The skeletons kept on marching without any hesitation. In response, the two King's Screaming Skull catapult unleashed volleys of flaming skulls, each enchanted with terrible curses. Groups of carrions attacked from the sky directly into the artillery pieces of the invading humans. Portions of Swath's army committed into repelling the giant carrions that had rendered half their artillery unusable. With his forces divided, but close enough to support each other, General Swath waited for their opposition to close the gap even more. On the other side, Logan began descending onto the right flank of the Undead army. The skeletons were soon to be crushed, so he thought. Ptra saw this maneuver and was the first to charge forward onto the flanking force. No tactics nor army would deny the destiny that awaited these foul invaders. Near-Kharan warriors and skeleton archers followed Ptra to help him stop the flanking force, as if he needed any support. A unit of Necropolis Knights also charged the Slayer force. The rest of the army kept going forward into the main formation of the invaders. The Necrosphinx and the Tomb Scorpion were the first to reach the main lines of living men. They unleashed a rampage of destruction that not even the most experienced tacticians or warriors would have foreseen. They attacked with a particular furious determination, almost as if they were punishing the plunderers for even having the intention to sack the reliquary. Blocks of skeletal infantry soon joined the battle.
I alone may wield the Blessed Blade of Ptra. For am I not his right hand, the bringer of the fires of the sun? Today, I offer him a fine tribute indeed. 1,000 souls or more, each an idolater, a heathen, and an enemy of the Hekala. May this please you, mighty Ptra, bringer of the day. For it is the last these unbelievers will ever see!
Ptra had another card under his sleeve. He had awakened a second force of Tomb Kings and warriors to fight for him and deal with the unworthy slayers coming from the right flank. Eventually, Logan and Swaft found themselves in the middle of the battlefield, fighting hordes of Neokaran warriors while trying to assess the situation. Their own warriors were growing tired, their strength sapped by the punishing glare of the desert sun. Suddenly, the thieves began to panic as they saw more and more motionless bodies on their sand. Their plans seemed to be crumbling apart with every passing moment. Tomb God and the Neokaran warriors kept cutting them down like corn in the harvest, bringing them back to the dust from where they came. The punishing dance of the swords would not end until all thieves had paid the price for their trespass.
Thank you for watching. On this channel, we're putting together fan-made cinematic episodes featuring historical and fantasy battles based on the settings from the Total War series and, of course, good old World of Warhammer. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit the notification button to be the first to watch the next battle.